So, day 3. Gotta get rid of this lens flare. What's going on with that? What's up with that lens flare? Okay. Things are going wrong with the camera. Okay. So, first, a little bit of I think I could do a lot better than yesterday. It was rough sound, a bit mumbly. I'm going to use this piece of cardboard as a plectrum, so it has a kind of... I just tried it before when I rehearsed this song. This is a song by Pink Floyd that I used to listen to on cassette tape in my car when I was younger. If you didn't care what happened to me, and I didn't care, for you, we would zigzag our way through pardon and pain, occasionally glancing up through the rain, wondering which of the buggers to blame. And watching for pigs on the wing. I thought that went quite well. I think maybe that song suits my voice, or it's just a million times easier than the other one, Laughing with God. So, what's going on that is I kind of find positive, because people have been saying more positive stuff, no negative. And so, well, my wife has always had to struggle in her care for her children, doing whatever she can. She makes clothes, and her other family sells them for her, or that helps make money for them and her. But that whole side of the business has been a bit sort of slowly declining. And they have other jobs too, like her sister and her sister's husband both sell insurance and do other things for that company, and so her son and daughter, their jobs are pretty much shutting down slowly. Her son's still working right now. The daughter, I think her job has stopped or is about to stop. So anyway, not long ago, as this even started to happen, and people started hearing about China, and it wasn't spreading around, there's a couple of cases in Thailand, masks were already starting to sell out. And I said, and we were going to the markets with clothes that my wife made, because I said, maybe you should try selling again if you feel well enough, because she also had a lot of health problems. She used to sell things at markets, but she stopped because of her health, but then she got much better because of this keto diet thing. So then I started going with her on the weekend, a couple of days a week, selling things, not making very much sales. And I said, well, people need masks. here's a pattern that I found on the internet. You can make masks. So we only sold a couple. But then a while back, her sort of cousins, or her sister's ex-husband died, and I went to her funeral. You might, if you follow what I talk about, might have seen I went to this funeral. And then at that time, she brought some and gave them. So this friend of the family, who is a good friend of ours and comes around, she got a whole bunch of them and sold them online. And then just more and more recently, people just keep coming and buying them from my wife. So she's making more and more masks, to the point where we ran out of elastic. And it's not opportunistic, all right? It is and it isn't. It's like it's just supply and demand. Like, I wrote a whole post that slightly revolves around supply and demand, and it's just a way of analysing things that's not as emotional for me. So I think it's healthy. And I was saying, well, we're doing people a service. They're cheap. We make them. They want them. And they're reusable. You can wash them instead of buying these paper ones and discarding them, and then they run out and you can't get them, and people, oh no, I've got no mask, what am I going to do? Whether they work or not, that's a whole debate you could have, but people prefer to use them. I mean, I'm sure they give you some reduced chance of catching something that you might breathe in and get an infection. So yeah, and I said to her, it's good, you're making things people need and that they worry because they can't find, and you're making them at a very low price, and that's like the equivalent of about $1, Australian money, maybe more, because the Australian money's a bit weak at the moment. Someone even came the other day and said, oh, I want a whole bunch because I want to sell them. So she, that's how this can go, so I started sourcing elastic locally. And then her sort of daughter-in-law, her son's wife, or almost wife, fiancée, she was we helped her sort of making a cafe when she had no job, and then she got a job as a barista, so that kind of went on hold. And I did all that on Facebook too. But so anyway, the whole mall is pretty much closing down a lot, except for the supermarket parts, because they don't want, it's air-conned and people congregate in the mall. It's like the opposite of what you really want. So she's only been off for like one day, and she's talking to me this morning via chat and saying, oh, do you know where you can get these? And had a picture of like French bread. And I said, I've seen them in these two markets. So she went to one called Macro, that we often shop at, and bought a bunch. And they're like, she's from Laos, right? So Laos was a French kind of controlled territory like Vietnam, and so they have a lot of French influence. They have kind of pate salad bread roll thing, French bread with this kind of local style of sandwich, and it's still super delicious. And I used to eat them in Vietnam when I was staying there, and had one not long ago when I did a short trip there. Anyway, so my wife puts photos. I mean, it's not easy to set up a shop, but all my wife did was make photos of them, right? And she knows all the locals in the streets, and so people are like, I want one, I want two, I want three, I want one. And so it's like a takeaway shop that opened this morning, from inception to sales in a matter of hours. Amazing. A little bit of potential. So these, and all this income is very small, but it's better than zero income, I can tell you. So well done them. I think that's great. That's the best thing about it, is it keeps you busy, it keeps you focused. No, not just watching scary television, COVID-19 stories and the government this and freak out that. It's a constructive. It's like, that's why I'm doing these videos. Maybe people want to see something different, or just know how I'm going. And it's like when I learned photography, I did a 365 project, or I ended up doing 2 in a row of photography. Make at least 1 photo per day and put it online. So I got into a kind of role where I shot film, and then if I didn't have any film shots, I used digital photography, but mostly it was film. And I put photos, and I learned a lot. And so I'm like, I've been vlogging more of like monthly, or if occasionally I might do an extra one, for the 4 years since I left being a monk and that place. So this is kind of like, I've always seen people who do daily vlogs, and I've thought, I've got to simplify it down into a process that I just do daily, and I'd like to kind of evolve that, because if you want to have a website business, which is the kind of thing you need if you're going to live in a foreign country, and make contacts and find customers, or just, you know, provide something of use to others, videos is really important these days. It's the kind of ongoing, new, fresh content that people want. So producing it fast enough, having a show, I'm at least getting a feel while I'm in sort of quarantine. So this is like the day 3 video. Yesterday I made 2 videos, but I didn't publish the first one, which is kind of me ranting about a written rant. I thought, I just didn't feel it, so I left that one. I might edit it into this video, maybe not. People who do this, they tend to do it live, and it just has it's minimal editing, just gets like, I've even set up the live thing, which it says, I've never used the live streaming of YouTube, and so I never went there. So then by going there, it said, alright, well, it takes 24 hours to activate this, so wait 24 hours. But maybe tomorrow I'll try to live stream, and then that becomes a video. After you hit stop, you can publish it as well. So other things that are happening, meanwhile, in my country of Australia, which I'm not in, I'm in Bangkok. This is my room. Our house has a few rooms, has like a living room, that we divided into kind of couple spaces, and a kitchen, 2 bedrooms upstairs, 2 bathrooms, and an outdoor kind of office / sewing area, where the garage was like kind of an outdoor garage space that has been roofed. In Thailand, people often just make a roof and let the air blow through, and that's like where they do a lot of eating or hanging out. Sometimes they have a kind of thing. They have a thing where you have like hot coals, and you make barbecue / soup with this kind of special cooking plate, and then everyone sits around putting meat and vegetables and different things. You could do vegetarian or meat, and taking them off, just like going to kind of Korean barbecue, I guess. But this is the Thai sukiyaki. Sukiyaki's not barbecue, it's like more of a soup thing, but you're making both. You're making barbecue and soup. Sukiyaki is a Japanese word, but anyway, Thais have sukiyaki, and it's quite different actually. Since I came back, when I get fed, I don't share the same. Normally you share bowls of different food that people cook, and you take from it. But because I'm in quarantine mode, I get made my own style, like a Western style, my own glass of water, and that I normally might share a glass with my wife, and my own plate and my own everything. But, I've got no symptoms. It's all still fine. Like, I was already doing a week of sort of mostly isolation in Australia, and nothing manifested, and I was as careful as possible with washing and masking, and glasses are a kind of protection too, like a mask for your eyes, because the same particles can land on your eyes and cause a infection. In fact, I even felt like I had kind of red, itchy eye the other day, so I put a lot of lavender oil around the eye because it's so antiviral. And when you have headaches and you use lavender, you just sort of put them on your temples and forehead. So I just wondered, will it make it go away? And it did. It was a bit intense. It's like so potent that it's like you're there going, oh my god, these fumes of, that's how powerful lavender is. These fumes are like blowing my mind. But after 15 minutes, it sort of settles down, and then the irritation went away. So, and that's one of the things that, this is not medical advice, unofficial. Do not do what I did with lavender. I'm just telling you my own crazy story. But there's advice that someone shared the other day, which I did already just by logic, which is if you start feeling sore throat or scratchiness, or even if you don't, use mouthwash or gargle salt, or whatever version you like. But disinfecting your throat and sinuses can stop it from getting in your lungs if you have it. You probably don't, and you're probably just freaking out from nothing. Just even the stress can make you feel like you have you can imitate the symptoms of infection, because stress is almost like a disease in itself. It can affect your breathing, make you exhausted, anxiety. You start to think about things too much, and then you experience them. And that happened to me quite often, because ever since I left that kind of past situation, I've had a condition where basically any kind of small trauma overwhelms me because of all this many small traumas through my life. It's like a cumulative effect, and then anxiety can kind of build, and you lack sleep, and things get worse, and then you don't have the presence of mind to say, look, you're in that kind of state where things aren't getting better, they're getting worse. You need to stop everything you're doing and manage yourself until judgment returns to normal. And I think that affects a lot of people in a lot of ways, in their work, in their relationships. But if you're doing certain types of work, and the quality of your work is diminishing, you need to be able to look at yourself and why. So the same goes for just coping with all this news that's so epic. So many people are saying the same thing. They're saying, this is surreal, I can't believe this is happening. What is this? Someone said, yeah, it's like a sci-fi novel, and then apparently they were telling me that they got attacked for being uncompassionate and saying it's like a sci-fi novel, which is like another kind of overreaction. But coping with anxiety is a very good skill to develop. So how can you cope? You can do stuff that's productive. You can do less. You can limit your amount of time on social media. Okay, if you do 3+ hours of social media a day, you should expect it to impact you. It'll put stories in your mind, and you'll have to mull them over it. Probably another 3 hours. It might even affect your dreams. I've had bad dreams last night that were definitely related to all this and my past history. So that whole trauma-based history coming back and being reignited by current anxieties, and creating this bizarre dream. It wasn't too bad of a dream, but it wasn't good either. Keeping yourself busy means that, just watch a movie, to play a game, whatever. Do something mindless. And meditation is not always the best solution, okay? Because it's like... it's very hard to say why it's not, alright? But it's not. It doesn't always relax you. It's better to relax, and then maybe meditation will happen in a relaxed way, than to try and force and don't stop thought. That's a suppression type of thing, where it's not a really winning strategy, because what you suppress tends to keep coming back up. And that's why I play guitar, whether it's shockingly unentertaining or very good. I'm a little bit sort of I don't really care if it's good or bad a lot of the time. If it turns out good, good. If it doesn't, I'm just practicing, That's one of the reasons why I ended up becoming a professional guitarist, because I was terrible, and yet I persisted to play. And then slowly, after about 10 years of playing, I got to the point where if I sat in with some friend's band, they'd be like, "Wow, man, are you a professional? How can you play like that?" And I'm not like that anymore, but obviously there's like a ghost of that past. I mean, sometimes I play really crap, but other times it's like... This guitar sounds a lot better now. It's got new strings. So, I used to be able to... be able to play very fast, kind of amazing rock and roll. Now I can't. I can and I can't. I gotta do all the scales again. But actually playing fast is not particularly good style of playing music. It's nice if you get to a part which is fast and you can pull off whatever that you've just composed as your song, but if you're improvising, going... You want to sing with your guitar, a bit like singing with your voice. So one of my guitar teachers used to tell me, you should play slow. And I don't know if you remember people like George Benson. He used to sing with it. got the COVID blues. Gotta stay inside this house for 14 days. Gotta stay inside, my wife tells me so. I might have that COVID, nobody knows. Cause I'm gonna make some YouTube videos, gonna play some guitar. It's not a nice thing to think about. You don't want to make poems, you don't want to make rhymes, you don't want to make jokes when people are dying all over the world. Hope doesn't seem very much on top of this right now, but I don't know what to say except I got the blues, got anxiety, and I've got confusion. When is the COVID going to end? Prime Minister of Australia, he says, at least 6 months you're gonna have to do this. And you bloody idiots, get back inside. Stop buying so much toilet paper. Just stop it. Stop it. This is your life now. We tell you the shots. But what happens and how well it's gonna work, nobody knows. But it makes sense. If you don't go out, you're probably not gonna meet someone that's infected. Stay at home, and you might not infect your family, assuming you don't have it already. And if you have it, it's much better that you're at home. At least you're not gonna go out and make another 100 cases. I didn't stop because I was planning to. I was stopping because I didn't have any more to say. But I'm sort of hanging out as if I was talking about guitar with a friend. Play a little. That light that comes on, that's the screen of my laptop. It's like a front light. Because this room is quite dim. But luckily this camera is relatively sensitive. So this half an hour, I think it's enough, and see you tomorrow for day 4 if you dare. And I hope you enjoyed my music, I hope you enjoyed what I have to say, or if you didn't like it, tell me what's silly and crap about what I said, as long as you just tell me why, and where to read why you think it's wrong, and that's really cool. Any feedback is so nice. I'll address it, and I'll address it in a not attacking you way. I'll just say, oh, well, maybe I'm wrong, but I think this because of that, and this person thinks this because of that, and I think they're right because this, or I'm wrong because that. Just main thing is to find the truth, always. Okay, see you later.